Hey guys, on my way to the early television museum annual get-together convention. Making a pit stop just outside of Indianapolis to pick up something rather interesting. Something I teased a little bit on my Patreon page, but didn't mention on the main YouTube channel because, well, and I wanted to wait until the deal actually went down, but now that we're close, I don't mind mentioning it. Also, a spectacularly nice day. This spring has been really up and down, but man, this weekend should be perfect, like low 70s, not a cloud in the sky. I will show you what I am picking up when it's actually in my possession. I just picked up my first objective, a Craftsman RC200 chassis. I'll give you a peek at it in a moment. Just crossed the border into Ohio. Should be at my little dive motel in about an hour and a half. Then I'm going to head over to the museum and hopefully meet up with some familiar faces. Well, I would love to show you the Craftsman TV chassis, but I don't have it. You'll find out why later in the video. I will have it, it's just not currently in my possession. But I do have some photos. So, I got this, I believe, the gentleman's father had passed away, and he had built this or tinkered with it. And he passed on not only the chassis but all the paperwork to me. So it was not Radio Shack Craftsman. It was its own company, and they made high-end custom chassis, chrome-plated like Scott Radio chassis. No cabinets. I think maybe you could buy an optional cabinet from them, but it was meant for custom installs. Like here, they show an example where it looks like it's in a bookcase or some such. So there it is. It's the Craftsman RC200 TV receiver. It's a very, very pretty thing. No picture tube. I believe it was adaptable or came in several flavors for different picture tubes. I think this one's set up for a 21-inch. If you've been following, a few months back, I scrapped out a chassis, or somebody had to remove a chassis from a TV cabinet, and it had a big old 21 ZP4 CRT or something like that. That might fit in this. This is a good side view. You can really see the chrome plating. They say it's high performance, high fidelity. I looked at the schematic. It's a fairly conventional design, but it does have a decent number of IF stages, maybe a little more attention to the audio output. I think it uses a 6V6. And of course, they had an I-tube in the middle there. Better look at it. What am I going to do with it? Well, of course, I'll try to get it working. Hopefully, I have a CRT that I can pop in there. I did examine it briefly, so like, does it need to be recapped? Probably. So this would have been built in the 53, 54, 55 time frame. So it has paper caps in it. What I'm not sure about, though, is was this built as a kit, or did you buy it like this and then just pop it into your custom enclosure? Because the paperwork is really detailed, and it kind of gives me the impression that it was built as a kit. But I'll know that more, well, in about a week when I actually have it back in my possession.
Overseas, like Italy,
there it is, guys.
Brazil made their factory sealed
thing of it.
Factory sealed.
The only other country that got USA made sets was Canada.
Yeah, Canada.
That's right. And well, yeah, Canada.
Somebody, this went on Facebook, you know, and some guy chimed in and says, "How do we know that it's not a reproduction from China?" I want to kick his ass. I mean, I want to say, are you really that stupid? Look at the set, you know. That did not come from China.
You can't reproduce
that.
And
you can't reproduce that. What a moron.
It's even got, I love it's got the Philco tape. Factory tape. Yeah,
plus he appraised it at $3,000 like he knows everything.
And we're open the other end.
Comment on his Facebook.
Is this upside down right now?
What an idiot.
Maybe.
That is pretty cool.
No.
But anyway, I like
But it says, the arrow says
Yeah,
it's not
it's
out.
got your logo on it.
So this is the stuff that's being auctioned off. I may not bid on anything because I have so many TVs already. The only thing I really want is that, but it's so big and so heavy. I think that would be insane. 300 pounds, 400 watts, 48 tubes. Westinghouse, 15-inch color set. I think they beat RCA to the market by a few months. So that was the first color TV you could buy. They do have a couple mechanical sets. That guy, and then one up here next to the Predicta in the box. So that'll all be auctioned off tomorrow. There's other stuff here, but it's not currently in the auction. And there's one thing in particular I thought was kind of neat looking. That guy, which looks like it's a Crosley tabletop set, fit into a console cabinet. I don't know. I've never seen anything quite like it before.
I kind of like that.
Hey guys, the day has come. The swap meet is officially open now. So let's take a little walk around, see what's here. I'm using the used camera I just bought off eBay a few days ago. We'll see how the image stabilization works. Looks like a pretty good turnout this year.
We'll see. I gotta see what's in here. See if there's anything that I really. I mean, when I tell you I have thousands of knobs, I have thousands of knobs. Shop. This is good to have too. Because I got a lot of breakers. Yeah, I figured I'd bring a bunch of breakers. Oh, I'm here. You should own that. Sorry. No, come on. Credit cards accepted too, eh? Oh, for you? I can just hide that.
General,
The blonde TC10, I believe it's already spoken for.
That might fit nestle in nicely as well.
Don't give me any ideas. Hey, Bob.
Hey.
Tom.
Hey, Tom.
Yeah, you know, as it actually looks like.
I keep running into people that just walk up to me, hey, Bob, I have no idea who they are.
You got a name tag on, plus I recognize the face.
Can't say for certain. Look at this guy, always working. Always working.
The people ask me to record a video.
Yeah. Well, I
Somebody
can't think of a better guy for the job.
I keep telling everybody they got to make it, and then everybody says, oh, it's too far, I can't make it. So,
there it is.
well, next best thing.
This is the next best thing to be in there, but way, way down on the list.
Especially folks that are like, oh, I can't find any TVs, there aren't any near me, they're too expensive. Like, come here.
I would be a vendor. I got so much stuff in my shop. Oh, he sold it?
I should be selling here, but I just couldn't get my act together.
The only two I know for
Boy, Tom has some nice stuff.
Philco there and the
Let me know when you got time the next little while.
Sure.
Transfer that Predicta to your vehicle.
Oh, you're that Tom.
I'm the broken Tom. I got
okay. I'll pick that up a little later.
No, it's funny.
particularly during the summer.
This is a seller I got. It's my blonde Bendix from last year. And I see there's another Bendix. And a Dumont Doghouse. And Zenith and a Teleking.
Appreciate it. Sure.
And a neat Helicrafters.
Yeah. Good times.
And another Bendix. Hello. Morning. Documenting this for the people that couldn't make it. I bought some sets from you last year. You got me some really nice stuff.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're happy with it.
Very.
A few more things this year, so if I can do you a favor, I mean, you know, look around.
It's entirely possible.
Yeah.
It's entirely possible. I'll be back.
Sure.
Excuse me.
Oh, really? Okay.
I used a little bit of spray wax on it.
Yeah.
Looks like a mirror.
Came right up.
Morning, Bob.
It's
Morning.
crazy. So I'm just open like 3 days a week before.
All right, let's see what else we got
A
here.
long time. I probably decided to go get it. But I did.
GE, sort of locomotive. It's in a wooden cabinet. You don't see this particular one that often, or at least I haven't. Pause recording while I was talking to a gentleman who's arranged to meet me here to drop off a predictor for me to restore. I've actually gotten to the point now where I'm having to tell people no. This is just too much of a backlog. Ah, nice Emerson Bakelite. Morning. $10WP7. What's a 10WP7?
That was a radar tube for the Korea War.
Is it electrostatic or magnetic?
Well, I stuck it in the 630s, and you don't have
Oh,
to
okay,
use-
yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, the only problem is it works great, but it's got the wrong phosphorus.
Oh, yeah, no, I understand that. But I was curious if it has, it's the same base. That's neat.
Same base, length, everything, exact same tube, just the phosphorus different. On it, so.
That's cool. Neat.
I don't know how you ever find him in here. I don't
A little
know.
micro Sony.
See him. Must have got an intake
Oh, huh.
on speaker.
Years ago, I have new in the box the stand for that TV.
Oh, you do?
It's about this. It looks like maybe it's for a hospital or something. It's on wheels, so you could move it around with the T-handle Admiral. And I've been looking for a T-handle Admiral ever since. And it's the first one I've actually ever seen in person.
Well, it works good. Make me off if you want it.
Oh yeah.
The offers never refused. I downsized, as we talked yesterday. So
I'm gonna walk around and record some more video, and then we can talk. And we
Okay.
can do a package deal.
okay.
Well, I better keep, because those use them. Yeah, I got a real nice speaker. Some of them are really beautiful.
It is missing the
I don't
one
have
knob
too
on
many,
the
but I
side
got
as
some.
well. It's got a knob change the channel, but the original.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's
How's your museum getting? Pretty good? He's got beautiful stuff in there. Oh, he's got you know,
More free VCRs.
that Grady is richer complete Cincinnati.
Wasn't planning on buying anything, but there's a better turnout than I've seen in the past. Ooh, probably the second one of these I've ever seen. This is much nicer than the other one that I saw. The rarest of the predictors. Tandem stereophonic. Lovely blonde Dumont.
What in the heck is that thing?
I think it's the same as the one I'm about to restore. Oh, hey, the Sampo. I posted a Photoshop version of this TV where it had an extra set of CRTs. This is what the real deal looks like. So, the main picture and two sides.
Yeah, I have a lot of
And that's for a studio or for a home?
Appliances, vintage vacuum cleaners. A couple of years ago when I drove down here in 2020 for a sort of informal convention that they had, I drove down in my 1965 Cadillac Fleet.
Wow. Is that a remote?
That's for a Marconi Mark III studio camera.
Wow.
That's the CCU unit for it.
Neat.
I believe it to be the only one in this country.
I can believe
Never
that.
mind Mark III, unless you import one from England, but I don't need it. It's in my way. And buy this.
Where'd all this stuff come from? Damn.
Probably only got 90 degrees 2 weeks ago. I'm not used to it.
We in defense of me and Bob, we live on the Great Lakes, so we get it's colder longer.
It snowed 2 weeks. Wow.
I'm afraid to go back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it snows horizontally.
Oh yeah.
It's a treat to see.
Yep, at least twice a year we get a really crazy snow like that.
We can figure out what else we can bring up.
Are these for sale, or why are these even out here?
Steve, are these for sale?
No. Well, it's an experiment. Bob owns them, so
Doughbush.
everything Bob has is for sale.
I was gonna say, yeah, they're probably for sale.
Right.
That's some wild
There's
stuff.
some, yeah, there are some wild.
Huh.
So, Steve, I wanted to tell you a couple things so that he was going to help them, which is good.
Here's another look for the stuff that's being auctioned off. So there'll be a live auction, a silent auction, and then there's the swap meet outside. So this is the stuff that's donated to the museum, and the funds go to run the museum. The outside swap meet is just people who brought stuff to sell.
Well, you just feather edging effect on the headers. Strangely enough, somebody did say that they've seen the picture tube before, and yet somehow the thing works perfectly, yet they've seen another one that shows nothing visible and checks as gassy.
Well, I don't. We're just gonna.
Not enough to bid on anything. I suppose I should bid on the Protogram Duo View because it's in so much nicer condition than mine. If it goes for a reasonable price, I think, even though I have when I started restoring, I think I would be foolish not to, especially because it has things that mine's missing, like this panel where you wrap the cord around it, and it has knobs.
Excuse me.
In the auction listing, they showed a GE coaxial Danish modern, same as the model I have at home, but I haven't seen it here. I might bid on this, just because it's super cool, super rare, built like a tank. I took a look at the back. Even though it has a busted picture tube and it's deep, originally 16 AP4 is a first generation metal cone with low deflection angles, so they're really long CRTs. I have a 16-inch all glass 16 LP4 that's much shallower. It's probably 90 degree. Maybe it could be modified to use it. That's one reason I might. I wonder, is this a phonograph? It is a phonograph. Yeah. No, I have nowhere to put it. I'll probably have to throw in a bid on it. No, I'm not going to bid on any predictors. I already have enough.
Well, I think it's one of these Motorola portables.
Morning.
Transformer obviously works.
A lot for $50.
Oh, 50?
This one. This one, okay. This one might just be pretty. Yes, 100. Yeah. Well, the other one.
Pretty set. It's a Filco.
Yeah.
CT100, first color TV from RCA.
Thanks. Yeah.
Done that too. This is all auction stuff, right?
Yeah. I think these 3 rows are auction stuff. This stuff isn't. Looks like a few more things appeared over here. What is that? Oh. It's silver. Oh, it's a silver tone, but the part of the logo broke off. Pretty little TV. Early Sony video camera, I guess. Trinicon. Oof. Now there's a project. Bring that holiday back to life. There's a telecheck. Kind of recognize some of these. Those are monoscopes. That's an early, what do you call it, iconoscope? Image orthicons. But some of these is wild.
We were all standing around it last night, all the great theories.
Alright, that's basically it. Walk back around outside. So maybe I'll bid in the Strong. I'll probably throw in a bid on the Stromberg and the Duo View. Maybe pick up a couple things out here. But mainly I'm going to get some picture tubes. Exchange one I accidentally bought last year that's not going to work out for me, and pick up a couple others. Museum sells CRTs, 75 bucks a pop for the black and white. No, they don't have any drop-ins for predictive, of course, those got gobbled up a long time ago, but they have some other types that can work in a variety of sets. I guess they're asking $1,200 for that stereophonic, but I found out that it has kind of fake wood vinyl coating on it. It's not the original finish.
So you never get it out.
Even so, I think it's a pretty fair price for such a rare set.
Maybe to have a gas line going to storage and everything before it springs up.
Only other one I've ever seen, I think he wanted $1,000 for it, and it was pretty trashed. It worked, but it was rough.
The chassis out of this.
Called stereophonic, not because it is stereo, but you can attach a second speaker to it, and it has some extra, it has a tone control and some extra features on it. I think you can plug a phonograph into it.
We had one of those in a back room in the.
Well, that's my.
Things have been selling pretty well. The auction should be starting soon. Some more items showed up. While walking around, I spied that. Tom C's table. That's a 17er one. That would complete the trilogy. I don't know if it's for sale or what the deal is with it. I'll wait till after the auction to find out. So, oh, NFS, not for sale. Well, that answers that. But at least we got to see one, huh? So that is the first 17-inch portable. They had earlier portables. They were more boxy. I actually have a couple of them. But this was the first 17er. I do believe. Anyways. That says Transitone on it. I'll have to do my homework on that a little bit. But I think that is the 17er one. Anyways, let's check out the new auction stuff. Not much left out here. I bought nothing. But some of the stuff that was out here got moved inside and is now part of the auction. I missed out on the T-handle Admiral. Got snatched up, I think, while I was walking around filming.
The top is all rust. Oh, this one's a television set.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. See it on YouTube right now.
Not live streaming, but eventually.
It's going to be the crossover event. I break into Bob's channel.
Nice stack of Riders TV manuals, including volume 1. 2 volume 1s.
There's 2 volumes.
All right, you ready?
Yeah. You can auction this off, or did it sell? Or?
It's sold right here.
Oh, well, there you go.
I bought it.
Nice. Now you have
cool.
virtually the same set I have.
Yeah, I thought so.
Those are great sets.
Once we get it on.
So they took the less, well, arguably less desirable models and put them outside for the silent auction because another truckload showed up of good stuff that's inside.
What's that?
So let's take a look at those. Including a GE Forecaster, a metal, let's see, there's a Philco 48001, there's the Forecaster, and there's the metal Halcrafters, and we got some Zenith portables, we got the cool National Metal portable with the field strength meter built in. I believe it had a metal panel that went over this originally. I don't know if that's included or not. Put it on its side. So if you recall, I got that Motorola VT73 recently where somebody had cut a hole in the front and mounted a meter. They were making one of these, basically. So you could carry this around to customers' homes and check the strength of signal and figure out where to where to set up the antenna and get the best reception, that kind of thing. Some picture tubes, some cameras, Predicta, GE810, Teleking. I think that was outside earlier. Oh yeah, I need to bid on this, I've been told. Tektronix rack mount vector monitor.
All right, let you go for now. Talk to you later.
You know, because it's like that's why you got a really nice.
And here's where the Primo stuff is set up. Oh, that is a nifty looking Philco. Oh, there's Stereophonic. It's going to be auctioned off. Oh, one of the. I thought about buying this, but I also found out how heavy they are. This is probably the single heaviest 10-inch set ever made, so I had to pass. And here is the coaxial, which I love, but I'm lucky enough to already have one. So we're all very curious to see what things go for. Oh yeah, and there's a minty Predicta Holiday. Quite new in the box, but a very, very nice example. I almost forgot. So I'm in the transmitting gear portion of the museum, which I don't honestly know much about. However, somebody said you got to check this out. We're not quite sure what it is, but it sure looks to me like it's some sort of prototype plasma TV. It actually has connections for what look like to be a vacuum pump, and then all the connections for the X and Y matrix. So I don't know, it's plasma or EL or what the heck it is, but that's pretty wild. And there's no sign. We've been asking people, what is this thing? Some kind of reflective surface on the back. Oh, and a computer connector at the bottom. Oh, and a huge surface. If anybody knows what this is, I've sort of seen mini versions of this in military gear with plasma display, like on ruggedized computers from the 80s. This kind of reminds me of that. But there's no way this was a commercial product or anything. It's way too complicated for that. Waiting for the auction to start. There's so many interesting things. Late 40s TV camera. So primitive looking. Wow. It says 40s, but man, it almost looks like something from the 30s. This is when you get into the very rarefied area of collectors, when you have cameras and broadcast gear. There's so little of it still around. Well, I mean, there was little of it to begin with. Like this monoscope rack. This is what would make the Indian head test pattern. This whole massive machine. That's where the monoscope goes in. That's what actually has the image on it. And of course, you'd have a preview of what you're about to send out on that. There's a big old transmitter. command console. I do have one of these, a newer version of one of these, and I'm very much anxious to get it going. So on the main screen you'd see a preview of what you're sending out, and on the scope you'd see info about the signal. Master monitor, I think they call them, or something like that. I have so much to auction off. I've been told it'll go quick, but we'll see. My main issue is limited space in my vehicle. So depending on what I win, there's one that Stromberg Carlson, but if I get Stromberg Carlson, I can't get anything else. It'll fill up my whole car. Well, I just made it back. Took a lot longer than it should have between a rainstorm and traffic and construction and accidents. A little frazzled. So I'm back, but not all my stuff is back. So along the way I picked up a Craftsman TV chassis that someone gave me. I did a trade, a Motorola 9T1 for this awesome 1702, and a customer dropped off this debutante for me to restore, and I picked up 3 21-inch CRTs that I bought at the museum. So with all that in my car, it came close to filling it up. So when it came time for the auction, I set my sights pretty low because I didn't really have any space. However, I met someone there who approached me, as actually a lot of people did, who knew me from YouTube, that I didn't know them. But it turns out he lives pretty close to me, and he picked up the one set he was interested in, which was I think it was a 19-inch portable. I might give him a hand with getting it running. And he offered to, he had a big car, he said, hey, I can take some of this stuff back and hold it for you. So he currently has my 3 CRTs and chassis. He got back a lot earlier than I did, and he is going to be out of town, so I won't get that stuff for a few days. I'm a little anxious because the CRTs I got were 21, I think, CQP4s or something like that, which relates to this set. So I've been calling this kind of the fat boy because it's portable, looks like a 1703 from the front, but it's deep. Here's the weird thing. Not a weird thing, but just a little footnote of CRT history. This is a 110 degree deflection 110 degree deflection CRT, same as the Predicta, same as the 1703. Why is it so deep? Well, they got the deflection angle worked out so that it has a yoke that's compatible with this, but the neck on this is different. It's smaller than the classic, like you see on these guys, which was a standard for about a decade. 12 pins and a large neck diameter. That's what everything used from 46 to about 57. In 57 they came out with these. The neck diameter is I think 1 1/8 inch, which is the same as this, but the base is different. If you watch my video where I created a portable test jig for Predictas with an 8 YP4, I think, it has that base. It looks very similar to the base on an octal tube. 8-pin, kind of largish. About a year later, they came up with these, which have an 8-pin base with a very similar to a miniature tube. So it kind of went from an octal tube base to a miniature tube base, and it was a shorter neck. So the front portion of both these CRTs is the same, and the neck diameter is the same, but the neck on these is longer and the base is chunkier. So I got the 21-inch flavor of that. So it'll work in a 21-inch Predicta. It'll fit in the shell. It'll fit in this housing. but the neck, I might have trouble getting the yoke to fit over it, and the base is completely different, and it's gonna stick out the back pretty noticeably. But that's the only game in town currently. I have some sets with dead CRTs. It's either have it stick out the back and have to modify the base, or nothing. So that's what we're going to experiment with. So I picked up a few of those. But this is the item. So my newfound friend, because he freed up space in my vehicle, I was able to get this monstrosity. There was another bidder. We had a very brief bidding war, but I got it for the princely sum of $70. I posted a link to the live auction feed. It was kind of depressing. Depressing at first, and then until I was talking to some other guys there and thought more about it. The Early Television Foundation auction is probably the worst place to actually price or evaluate TVs, because there's kind of three groups of people there. There's the old guys who are sort of out of the game. They divested of their collections. Maybe they repaired TVs back in the day, and they're for fun and to socialize. And they aren't going to bid on anything. And then there's the young folks who are just into the hobby, who don't have a lot of money or space. Then there's the guys in the middle like myself who have had just about everything. And so it's got to be something really special to get our attention. So those are the sets, if you watch the auction, those are the sets that sold for hundreds or thousands of dollars. The pre-war mechanical TVs, the TV that predicted new in the box, which sold for $8,000. The GE coaxial set, the GE forecaster, sets that are rare, sets that look really cool, sets that are unusual. Me, I'm one of the weirdos who likes the early stuff, the stuff that's built like tanks, like this RC ATS-30 and this Stromberg Carlson TS-16, which I'd only seen in photographs before. I think maybe I knew about it because when the museum acquired it, they did a little blurb about it. I'm not sure where or how I ever saw one of these before, because there's very scant information online about it. I certainly haven't seen another one come up for sale. I don't know of anybody else who has one. So I figured I'd be the crazy guy to get it. Now, one other reason it's so cheap is that the CRT is bad. This is a 16 AP4, which is the first gen or really early type metal cone tube. So it's a metal cone but a really shallow deflection angle. So we were just talking about the 110 degree short neck CRTs. This is the other extreme. I think it's 54 degree and it's long. So there was a 16 GP4, which they use in the Zenith portholes. It's probably only this long, but the 16 AP4, that's why this cabinet is so deep. They're also pretty much impossible to get. Now, CRT tested dead in 2020. I will check it again. Now, the guys at the museum, they know TVs, they know what they're doing, so I have no reason not to trust them. But there's dead and then there's dead. So, if we're really lucky, the filament is fine and maybe has an open cathode and we could try to re-weld it. Maybe there's some corrosion on the pins as I'm making good contact. But realistically, metal cone CRTs, they tend to lose their vacuum because the metal to glass seal opens up. So that's probably what happened with this guy. I do have a GP4, which is the steeper deflection angle. It's shorter. I can probably make it work. I also have an all-glass 16 LP4, I think. It's a lot shorter. And it's not metal cone, so that would require some modification. You can move the yoke assembly and support harness a little bit, but the all-glass one is going to be... I would need to move this somehow forward maybe 3 or 4 inches. That, because it's on this sub-assembly raised platform, that could be a little tricky. But we can certainly restart with a test CRT to get this thing working, because otherwise it's a pretty neat set. It also weighs something like 250 pounds, just a rough guesstimation because of the cabinet, because this is beefy. I know I need to get this inside at some point. I'll pull the chassis, which hopefully will lighten the loads enough so I can take them in individually. It's just a chassis. Look at the size of this transformer. It's heavy. It is an AM and FM radio continuous tuner. So you can see here's the AM variable cap and loop antenna. I believe, oh, I'm wrong. I thought it used an duct tuner like the Dumans and such, but no, this is just like the TC10. It might even be the same tuner, where it's the variable plunger style, and it has an I-tube. So that's. Ooh, what happened here? Ooh, I wonder if somebody's trying to work on this. Looks like somehow there's a slit up through the paper cover on that cap. That's odd. I don't pull the chassis. I haven't really looked under it, so I don't really know what's going on with that. And finally, underneath, kind of back in there, there is, where is it in here? There's a phonograph. Oh, that's a speaker on that side. Yeah, the phonograph is behind this metal here. So I need to do my research a little bit. It is a TS-16-M1 Monmouth. I'm not sure why there's a little bit cut out there, but so I'll dig up the service info and start doing my homework a little bit. 325 watts. So, unique set. That's why I got it. Eventually I'll muscle it inside. At least one good thing about it, I mean, aside from the neatness of it, it's really sturdy. I could put something, put something or some things on top of it, and it can handle the weight, no problem. So that's going to be it for now. When I get the other stuff, the Craftsman chassis and the CRTs, we can check those out. And of course I want to check this out. One thing I want to point out before we leave off, there's a similar antenna where it's built into the handle. UHF, it's got it all. And the back is very yellowed. I'm curious to see how well this will clean up. Now, I've gotten comments a bunch of times about using Retro Bright on these sets. Retro Bright, I've seen used on computers. Computers typically turn yellow, and that's because they put a fire retardant chemical in the plastic that yellows over time. Now, this is probably yellow for a very different reason. It's probably from cigarette smoke. You can see how splotchy it is. I suspect if I spray 409 or Purple Power or Simple Green, this may just flow off and be all lovely. But I did notice the front is not so crummy. This may have already been cleaned, or maybe it's slightly different color plastic. I don't know, but I'm curious to see how well that cleans up. Nice alligatoring. So eventually I need to get a 17-1, and then I can put all three of them together and replicate their old ad where they showed the evolution of the portable TV as the CRTs got shorter and shorter. That's going to be it for now. Kind of a rambling, sprawling video, multi-state video. I hope you guys enjoy it. Thanks for watching.